Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing Ride 4, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be tackling the shorter version of Mugello, part of a track I'm not really a fan of, to be honest, because it misses out so many great parts of the Tuscan hills of Mugello, and really, I thought, well, let's give it a try nonetheless. I'm going to be using the Yamaha YZF-R R1 from 2004. Now, discussing with Sacred Meerkat just a couple of days ago, he really loves this bike, and JMac in one of my live streams recently wanted to see this bike in action, and I couldn't produce it to him at the time because the bike wasn't upgraded. So here we go, giving it a try now for not the first time. We've done a couple of miles on it in the past, but I will confess, not a big fan of this 04 R1. I think it's a little bit bouncy. I don't know whether that's just the way I ride it, but I can't seem to get a good balance with it. I know Sacred Meerkat really enjoyed using it. He had a fantastic setup for it. Maybe the setup was the difference maker, but I don't know. I just felt it wasn't very stable. I had been playing some MotoGP 22, so probably picked up a few bad habits along the way that doesn't really work well for Ride 4. But nonetheless, I've begun to quite enjoy this one. It started off as a bit of a, maybe I shouldn't do this video in the end, but then things get a little bit more interesting. So for now, we're just going to start churning out the lap times. It's a very short lap time here in this Mugello circuit, the shorter version, as we just go off the track ever so slightly. And you're going to see a few different lines going into that final corner for turn 7 there, and a few different lines in general, because I could never really find the perfect lap for this version. I think this is probably the only time I've done a time trial challenge here in this version in Mugello. In the past, I've done it in racing and career mode because of the objectives that had to be done, but to actually choose this version over the full circuit is unheard of from me. It's not something I ever would do, and very unlikely to do again. But although I did begin to really enjoy this one, so who knows what's going to happen now. So into Borgo San Lorenzo, we are quicker than the Ghost at this time of the race, or at least the time trial session, as we now go into Casanova. Sadly, we don't go into Savelli, but we do go for the very tight apex for turn 7 and then bring on the power. But I really don't know what it is with this Yamaha R1 from 2004. I must be precise with that one, because the 2008 R1 is my favourite R1. So those 4-year differences made a big difference over those years. So I guess my question to you guys is, I would like you to try this particular challenge that I'm doing and compare what you feel and how you feel about the R1. What do you think about it? Do you like it? Do you really want to use it again? Do you want to see me use it again? These are questions that need answering, but hard on the brakes will go now for Materassi for the left-hand side for turn 4. We'll get the change of direction 0.4 of a second quicker than we were on the previous lap time, which would put us into a pretty decent 52-second lap. It would be a 52.4 or 52.5, but a little bit too wide, and unfortunately the lap has been invalidated. Now, the goal as well for this video is to do as many laps as possible until I decide either I crash or until I decide, you know what, I'm going to jump onto a different bike, or excuse me, a different tyre combination. And just putting me off for a second there was getting the invalidation on the lap for going across that rumble strip. Now, it's iconic to drive down that part of Mugello, and yet this game says no, you're not doing that in a time trial. Apparently, maybe we got an advantage or whatever, I don't know, I don't think we did, but the game said this lap will also be invalidated. So hard on the brakes will go then for Materassi once more, still up by 0.4 of a second in another lap that is not going to count. But we are going to do 10 laps of the medium tyre, and then I'm going to move over to the soft option tyre. And the soft option tyre is when things go a little bit interesting, because my goal here is to be as consistent as possible with the same tyres over and over again. So for now, the rear tyre looks a little bit cold, the front looks like a pretty nice temperature. So if you're going to do this and try and get as many consecutive lap times as possible, then the medium options are probably the best options. You could probably try the soft rear. The soft rear works well. The soft front is a little bit different. You'll find out in 5 laps or more time. But into Poggio Secco, we've done quite a few miles already now on the R1. We're getting the feeling for this 04 version of the Yamaha, and I gotta say it is growing on me. I did a couple of online races with Meerkat a few days ago. Obviously, I'm not at Meerkat level. He is unbelievable. He's just a god amongst the aces. But for me, I didn't have the best times with the R1. I couldn't really find the balance. Whether it was because I didn't have the suspension upgraded, but at the same time, I don't know. I just find this bike really loves to wheelie, even if I'm gentle on the acceleration coming out of corners with a little bit of anti-wheelie applied. And it's very, very bouncy. It bumps, it feels every bump or rock in the road. It's just a little bit tough to ride. But I like it. There's something about it that still says I want to keep on using it. And since it was recommended to use it, I'm definitely going to try and use it as much as I possibly can. But as for now, the lap times are coming in rather thick and thin as we go too close to the apex there. Oh, goodness me. I actually felt like we were going to crash then. I felt the front tyre dip a little bit, but we are getting closer to the Ghost, and this could be the first time for a while that we're going to get this right going into this particular sector, and yes, we certainly have. It's going to be a good lap time, this. Across the line we will go. It's going to be a 52.689, and yet again, invalidation lap on the 7th lap of completion for going on that bloody rumble strip. Into San Donato we went wide, getting the cut back, going tight to the apex, chucking the motorcycle to the left-hand side for Luco. We're not looking too bad. The lines are beginning to look a little bit more natural now. We seem to have got the angle right, and we're just trying to stop the bike from wheeling, which is somewhat working out. I don't think it's working out very well, but it's a few instances along these laps. It's just wanting to bounce up into the 2nd or 3rd gear. It's a rather strange feeling, truth be told. But into Casanova now and into the right-hand side for turn 7. Going to keep it in nice and tight here and gently bring on the power, pointing the motorcycle to the corner and then firing it out and across the line for a interesting line there. Actually, we got a good amount of slipstream. Well, not slipstream, but we got a good amount of drive going past the Ghost as we now go to the right-hand side for San Donato for turn 1. Onto the right-hand side, we'll then gently lift the bike over to the left for Luco, nice and tight to the apex, bring it into the middle of the circuit, go into the tight part of Poggio Secco and then bring on the power. Keep an eye out for that rumble strip and brake well before, maybe on it actually, I guess. I could try going a little bit earlier if you want to, but that's more of a MotoGP 22 style of braking, but this time it works by braking in roughly the middle of the rumble strip. But I tell you what, this is actually a good lap this. It's coming together nicely. The front end is a little bit warm, but nothing too much, but we get a great exit coming out to turn 7. And across the line, this will be a I keep wanting to say a 1 minute, but it's a 52 second 5:16. I'm so used to saying it's a 1 minute such and such, rather than just saying the seconds. It's always a bit of a, oh goodness me, too tight to the apex. A mistake has been made, but the lap time's still on. But I will confess, I want to give the soft option tyres a try. I did say around 10 laps is when I'm going to change it to softs, so we're going to give it a different try. But braking now into the left-hand side for Materassi. Can we close in on the Ghost? A little bit of a change of direction there, was quite fast. Bringing on the power, still neck and neck with the Ghost somewhat, but we're going to try and outbrake into the right-hand side for Casanova. A little bit wide and onto the rumble strip. That's going to be an invalidation. So this lap time will not count, but we're now going to try the soft option front and soft option rear combination. And now this part is going to get rather entertaining. So then, first time on the softs, see how things go. The medium tyre got relatively warm, but it felt pretty solid. So what can the soft combination do? The rear tyre for the soft feels much better. The traction on the exit is a little bit better, so we'll see what happens going into these next couple of laps. Going to do as many laps as we possibly can now with the soft option combination. This could be rather fun. So hard on the brakes will go for Materassi for the left-hand side, already up by a 1/10.5 as we now go to the right for Borgo San Lorenzo. A little bit wide and caught on the rumble strip, but that's okay. We're still ahead of the Ghost, but braking in nice and tight to Casanova. Lift up the motorcycle, straighten it up, and then bring it to the right-hand side for turn 7. Great exit, a little bit eager on the acceleration, but it's still going to be an improvement on the 52.516, and it's a 52.412. Excellent start already with a soft option combination, but the front tyre is a little bit yellow. See what happens as we now go a little bit late and wide into San Donato. Two focusing on the front tyre, I guess. Now to the left-hand side to Luco. Still relatively neck and neck with the Ghost, even after that mistake into the first corner. We're bringing on the power nice and gently, but still get that little bit of a wheelie on that little bump in the middle of the circuit. So down a tenth and a half this time compared to the previous lap time. But now still neck and neck with the Ghost, so there's still a good chance of improving this lap time as we now go tight to the apex, a little bit wide. Oh, dicing with death there, ladies and gentlemen, as we go hard on the front there to try and to steal a little bit of tenths of a second. It didn't happen this time around, but I'm liking the pace now. That's two very fast lap times in a row, both quicker than what we did with the medium tyres. So the soft option combination is definitely a combination worth using, but that is really tight to the apex, so we're trying every and each different line for each corner. And this is what you got to do if you want to improve your lap times and make things even quicker. You got to try those different stuff. So going wide into turn 1 worked out okay, went tight to the apex, worked in turn 1, still kind of went okay. So I guess for those ones it's going to be just whatever you have your preference as. I think going wide was a little bit better, or making a combination of going in the middle of the circuit. But into Casanova we are ahead of the Ghost, so we get the braking right into turn 7, a little bit wide compared to the previous time, but bringing on the power, it's going to be neck and neck with the Ghost once more. Across the line, is it an improvement? It is not. No improvement as of yet, but now this is where things are going to get a little bit more difficult. We are only 3 laps completed with the soft option combination. Each and every single lap time has been better than the mediums, but how much longer will that last? Will the soft option tyre last here? Now the soft option front is under a lot of pressure in quite a lot of sections of this circuit. There's a lot of braking, there's a lot of trail braking, and there's even hard firm braking zones as well. So the front tyre is going to get a bit of a beating, but on that straight it does have a chance to cool down a little bit. But you are then braking into one of the most difficult corners in MotoGP history, and that is San Donato. I wouldn't say in the difficulty is the sense of the corner itself, but getting the braking right, going 200 miles an hour on a MotoGP machine, and even going up to about 180, 190 on this bike here. Still a lot of pressure braking into the very first corner. So slamming on the anchors into turn 1, it's the first time we didn't really go as consistent as we would have wanted on that previous lap time, and this is where things are going to go into that direction now, because the front tyre is getting pushed, and I can feel it in corners now. It's getting to get a little bit vibration heavy on the left trigger. So it's down to this, just to keep on pushing, just to make sure as well that we don't make any mistakes, but also have a good balance and still feel the bike enough so we can keep on pushing and improving the lap times, because that's what we're doing here. We're trying to improve the lap times as much as possible, but also stay within consistent range of getting close to an improvement. I'll tell you what, that's a fantastic exit into the final corner, almost touching the grass there on the left hand side. We were dicing with death there, but yet we are still close to the Ghost. So into the first couple of corners, that's where the front tyre is obviously its warmest, and this, it's coolest, so we do have a good feeling. And then towards the end there, I'm literally pushing on the limit to try and maintain at least a nice temperature for the front tyre, so we don't just crash going into turn 7. And it does feel like I'm going to crash every time we go into Casanova and then into turn 7. This is quite the challenge this is brewing up to, and if you're enjoying the video so far, we're about halfway distance of the video, you might as well hit the like button, consider subscribing, and even dropping a comment down below if you fancy. It helps out the YouTube algorithm for the channel, so that's why I'm promoting that, if you will. But into the right hand side for turn 7, once again we do get quicker than the Ghost into the final corner. We have the drive. It's still not an improvement. It's a 52-second 4.12, or at least it was very close to it. I'm actually very keen to see the end results of this one, to see how close we have been in these past couple of lap times. I do believe that we've probably not veered off any more than 2 or 3 tenths of a second. Excellent consistency so far. Now to the right hand side for turn 3 for Poggio Secco, bringing on the power, and now this is the first time that front tyre has been a prominent orange. That could be a little bit concerning now for the next couple of laps. I am aiming to do up to 20 laps, but if the bike still feels good, you better believe I'm going to keep on pushing. So to the right once more, this feels good. This feels like a nice tight apex is what's beckoning us. A little bit eager on the acceleration, but we still might improve. Ahead of the Ghost, it's a 52.378. Not bad at all. Wanting to get the 51s, I do believe the 51s are possible, but with the tyres in the state they're in right now, and hoping to be consistent constantly, might not work out. I don't really want to jump back into the pits here because I've got a fantastic rhythm going of the same 52-second lap time, or getting really, really close to improving the lap time. So I might as well keep on pushing until we cannot get anything out of these soft tyres anymore. A little bit wide into Maserati, cost us massively there. This might be a first time dropping down towards the 52.6s, maybe 52.8s. But it's still relatively close, but I'm pushing the front end. Look at that tight apex. Look at that stunningly tight apex for the turn 7. We clawed all of that advantage, or at least disadvantage, and we got it all back again. Oh my goodness. If we could piece that with the perfect entry speed, acceleration out of that corner, and the perfect lap time in general, we could have a 51 lap time. We certainly could. But that front tyre, look how orange it's been. Look how orange it is now. That could go red. If it goes to red, then I'm probably not sure we can improve anymore. It's fun. It is rather fun though when the front tyre goes red. When I raced online a couple of days ago in Valencia, I was really struggling. I chose a soft option front tyre with the Moto Guzzi, and unfortunately the lap time has been invalidated there. And of course it would be an excellent line. Oh, it's a beautiful exit coming out of that corner there. And it would have been a 52.1 or a 52.2, I think that was. I'll have to check that later at the end of the video when we check the session. But honestly, this is now my 20th lap. And I'm sorry, but I'm not finishing the video on a 20th lap, which is an invalidation. That can't be done. We all want to go home happy, and if we're already home, we want to stay happy. So we're going to have to do a couple more lap times, but we can't end on an odd number, so we'll just keep on pushing. And I still feel great with this bike, and I'm still very keen to find out how hot that tyre can go before it cries no more. To the right we'll go for Casanova. We're still neck and neck with the Ghost. This is just consistent pace at this point. Dropping down the gears there, bringing on the power. Once more we're ahead of the Ghost. And across the line, is it going to be a 52 low? It is, it's a 52 something something. But it's still not enough to get into the 51s. Of course, that lap time being an invalidation wouldn't have mattered anyway. But going into the middle of the circuit for San Donato, bringing on the power with the warm front tyre, slamming on the anchors for the left-hand side for Luco. It's still 2 o'clock here, 31 degrees temperature in Mugello. It's a very warm day in the Tuscan hills, where DrAce is rapid around an R1 from 2004. To the left-hand side for Maserati, that's deep. We had the advantage, and really, the advantage is really lost in those first couple of sectors. Here, we seem to be extremely critically fast for improving the lap times, and again, this could be an improvement. A little bit wide, but look at the state of the front tyre, touching the grass there as well. Oh, that could be it. That's still not an improvement. I feel like that was the one. If there was ever going to be a lap time to improve upon, that was the one to do it. And unfortunately, we didn't. So a little bit of a mistake on my behalf. The front tyre is no longer yellow, and it's no longer a nice tangerine. It's a very big orange now. It's a full-on Satsuma is how orange that thing is right now. And bringing on the power, I don't think we're going to improve on this lap time either. Down by a 10th by a Maserati. It's not good, but it's not bad. Into Borgo San Lorenzo to start off the second sector. We'll go firm on the brakes, but nice and tight to the apex for Casanova. Beautifully done. Avoid touching the outside of the circuit there for all measures. A little bit wide. Just look at the front end. It doesn't want it anymore, but I can't tell you what, across the line it will be an improvement. It's a 52.310. So we have improved. But how longer can we go with this combination of tyres? The soft rear is loving life right now. The front, oh my god, look how red that is. The red front tyre. It doesn't want it anymore. It really doesn't. It's screaming. It's absolutely screeching. But on this particular sector, We're up by 3.5 tenths of a second. That's what we need to get into the 51s. To the right we'll go for Borgo San Lorenzo, bringing on the power. Going into Casanova now. Do we have a chance of improving? Oh, a small moment. Oh, the front tyre feels awful. The front tyre feels like it's going to just disappear in a heartbeat. The pressure that front tyre is going through right now, but across the line, is it going to be enough? Oh my goodness. Is that all we gained? I'm happy that was an improvement, but wow. We had a massive advantage in that first sector. That's a damn shame. That is really a damn shame, because the front tyre, by the time it got really, really hot like that, it was impossible. I had nothing for that final corner. I had zero feeling whatsoever for turn 7. And the front tyre, welcome to Red Town. It's still red. Oh, I can't get the braking into Materassi. I might need to just ease off on this particular lap then, just to try and get the front tyre a little bit more, just a little bit softer right now, but at least, excuse me, a little bit colder. But for now, this lap time's a washout. There's no way. That front tyre is really, really struggling. And the feeling of the front tyre, it's very impressive how Milestone have done this with the tyres, because the vibration when the temperature is that hot, it really ramps it up. So you do get very nervous to start even considering bringing on the brakes, because it just feels like you're going to crash. And that's how it feels right now. It just feels like we cannot brake in the spots where we want to. Need to brake a little bit earlier, need to brake a little bit more gentle. It's tough. This is the interesting part now. Can we improve on the 52.274 set a couple of laps ago? To the right for Borgo San Lorenzo, we'll bring on the power quite abruptly there, but at the same time, got to be gentle here in the brakes. Casanova, oh, it beckons us. Oh, that was a scary moment, but we are still on board the motorcycle. Somehow went wide for the previous lap time last time around. Whoa, really close to touching the grass there. Across the line is an improvement. Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. I thought that was an improvement. The Ghost looked like it was behind us then. But we'll go onto the brakes once more. I'm using a lot more rear brake now as well to try and compensate for the front tyre. The soft option front is struggling. Look how red it is, and to still think we're doing 52 2s and 52 3s and 4s with that front tyre, I'm quite impressed with that. I am actually quite impressed. I'll pat myself on the back on that one. But as we go now for the right hand side, second sector starting now. This is not going to be an improvement unless we can do something heroic into Casanova. And I tell you what, we are actually closing in rather rapidly, but the front tyre will scream no more. Does it still scream? It's definitely screaming. But look at that exit. Is this going to be an improvement? No way. It wasn't again. Oh my god. What do we have to do to improve on the 52.274? Answers on a postcard, please. I better still answers in the comment section down below. What do we have to do? We're on lap 26 now, sliding the rear into Luco. The front tyre is probably just raising its hands at this point. If it had hands, it's metaphorical, of course. But the questions are being raised. How is the soft front still surviving? We're on the limit. I mean, what else can this front tyre possibly do? We may have the greatest Pirelli front tyre in the history of sports. This is fantastic. Braking into turn 7 once more, gentle but balancing the brakes, bringing on the acceleration. We're going to touch the grass there, we did. I felt like we brought on the power a little bit prematurely there. A 52.274 is still the benchmark to beat. 51 is definitely a possible. It's there. But I'm afraid I'm going to have to try and jump into the pits to change things around. But lap 27 has been completed. We now have 3 laps on this front tyre to improve, and I just don't know if it's possible. I really don't. I'd love to improve my lap time now at this stage with that front tyre. I really would. Can we do it? Into Borgo San Lorenzo for like the 3rd time in a succession of being slower than the Ghost. Can we actually claw back just a little bit more tenths of a second into the final sector? Went tight to the apex this time, brought on the power a little bit better. Is this enough? No, the Ghost is neck and neck again. Unbelievable. Really keen to see those last lap times now. Really keen. But on the brakes we'll go, using a lot more rear brake now, really trying to just let the front have a rest. but it's not happening. There's just no stop. There is no rest for the wicked right now, and that front tyre knows it. But considering this is lap 29, I'm considering just gently letting off the front. Let the front tyre have a little bit of a break, just a small break, and then we'll go for it in the final corner. But even then, I don't think there's enough time to let that front tyre cool. Lap 29 is about to be completed. To the right hand side we'll go. Let's try and avoid the front tyre. Oh my goodness, that's an excellent exit. Is this enough? Oh, we touched the grass again! Oh, disaster. Oh, that's a damn shame. It felt like we had it then. It really did. But on the brakes we'll go into turn 1 then for San Donato. Middle of the circuit, going tight and then bringing it in even tighter. Position the R1 to the left, right hand side, then get it to the left for Luco. A little bit squirmish on the rumble strip there. Crashed there many a times for touching that rumble strip. And now it's down to this. Braking firm for Maserati. It's a 3.5 tenths of a second drop off. I'm afraid that's it. I don't think we're going to beat the lap time on this time around. This is something I may have to come back to because oh my goodness, we actually got really well into Casanova. Hard on the brakes, we'll go for the tight apex for turn 7. Bring on the power, avoid touching the grass if it's possible. Across the line, please tell me it's an improvement. Oh, we did it. Just when things look bleak, we did improve to a 52.240. But those are the lap times on screen right now, the top 12. If you do want to take a picture or stop the video now, you're more than welcome to. But look at that consistency. Everything within a tenth, 2 tenths, 3 tenths. From lap 23, 3 very consistent pace lap times there. But what about the rest of it? The rest of it is the most important part. And let's take a look to see what we got. And it was very, very close. 70 thousandths of a second, 69 thousandths of a second, 35 thousandths of a second. Unbelievable consistency, and well, I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed that. I really did. And I hope you guys did too. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite sate your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.